On Deck is sponsored by Boys Town National Research Hospital, your trusted physicians for pediatric neurological care. Welcome back to SammyStrong On Deck Warrior Stories. This is Sarah Wimhoff Strawn, your host of On Deck. For those of you who are new, the On Deck podcast is an extension of the SammyStrong nonprofit foundation that works to give back to kids and families fighting pediatric brain cancer and those organizations who are also helping them along the way in their fight. We started the On Deck podcast in the hopes to give a space and an opportunity for families to come on and share their stories of the journey for them with pediatric brain cancer in a way to hopefully kind of connect and just bring hope to other kids and families who are fighting. So today we have a wonderful guest all the way from Long Island, and we have Melissa Stopol. Melissa, thank you so much for being on the podcast and being patient with us working through some of our tech issues.
No problem.
So yes, thank you so much and welcome. You are here to share your family, Rowan's story, and let's kind of start there. First, how are things going in Long Island for you?
Oh, it's great. It's good. It's a beautiful day. It's nice. Kids are at school, so
good.
Yes.
And when did they start back at school?
Right after Labor Day. So I think
right after Labor Day.
Yeah. So it's been
Okay.
like two weeks or so.
Okay. You guys are 2 weeks in. We're about 5 weeks in.
Right.
We start
late and
so annoyingly very early in August, but
Yes,
it all balances, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, like I said, thank you so much for coming on, and let's start with your family and Miss Rowan.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Rowan and
Sure.
your family.
Okay, so Rowan is my oldest daughter.
Okay.
She was born in October of 2015.
Okay.
At the time we lived in New York City, and she was born, at term, completely wonderful birth experience, no issues at all.
I gotta ask, what day in October? Because we have an October baby too.
16th.
We have October 17th.
Oh,
that's so great. Yeah, our daughter. Yeah,
that's
our daughter.
So funny.
That is great.
Yeah, so it was
Okay.
she is great and adorable and wonderful. Super easy, like easiest child of all time. And then we had her sister 3 years later.
Okay.
So now they are almost 10 and
Okay.
almost 7.
Okay.
And we moved out to Long Island when Rowan was starting kindergarten. And yeah, here we are.
Here you are. Yeah. So Rowan was diagnosed in April.
She was diagnosed in April of 23. So she was towards
Okay.
the end of first grade at the time.
Okay.
Right now she's in 4th grade. So she was at the very end of first grade.
Then very end of first grade. Okay. So in that April of 2023, what were some signs, or what was kind of like your all's first indication of something's not right?
So we actually found this pretty accidentally.
Okay.
We had noticed that for a little while, my husband mostly noticed that one of her eyes was like a little bit off, and he would say, like, "You don't notice it?" And I thought he was crazy. And I'd look back at pictures, and in some pictures, like one eye would be a little bit more closed than the other.
Okay.
Like sometimes when I come home from work and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, no, she's just tired. It's been a long day. I really didn't notice anything.
Sure.
She had complained about her eyes burning and like bothering her.
Oh, okay.
But I kind of brushed it off because she was 7, and like she would complain like right when the babysitter was coming and we were about to go out, or like at night. So I'm like,
so
okay.
Always another maybe social emotional thing that can happen.
Like,
yeah.
Your eyes are good. But she like came home from school a couple times with like a wet compress that like I guess the nurse had given her. Like she obviously went to the nurse. I didn't think that much of it. I made her an eye doctor appointment because I was like, okay, we'll go to the eye doctor. canceled it maybe once or twice because it wasn't an everyday complaint. It was not an everyday thing. I just was like, okay, when we get there, we get there.
Yeah.
And we went to the eye doctor, and on April something, early April. And the eye doctor had said that she's like, not an emergency, but just maybe get some imaging because there might be like a tight muscle. And I was like, oh, she's going to have like an eye procedure. Like this is going to be such a big thing. I thought that was, I was like, this is going to be so difficult. She's like, you might need like a little procedure where I can loosen the muscle or the tissue or something. But she's like, something is like, just get some imaging.
Yeah. So she's not seeing anything, but she's like there's something,
like,
but yeah.
Like something, I think, behind the eye. She had like a toy that was when she was younger from like a neighbor that hit her in the face. And the eye doctor was like, oh, maybe that caused something underneath and we might just have to do like a little nothing. It really was like a nothing. We were going away on vacation and I was like, all right, I'll do it when I get back. I'll get her an MRI when I get back. By nature, I'm not an alarmist at all. I always think everything's going to be fine. I don't run to doctors. Like we're just kind of like, I'm like, you're fine. We'll go when we get back. For some reason, I guess, I don't know, the MRI place called and was like, oh, your insurance went through. We actually have availability on, Tuesday, whatever it was.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, so we'll just go. Actually, we were leaving for our trip, I think on Friday. And I was like, okay, great. We'll just go before.
We'll knock it out and we'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Took her for the MRI, didn't really think anything of it. Came home. Her best friend came over. They were hanging. And her pediatrician called me and said, oh, did Rowan go for an MRI this morning? I never even brought it up to the pediatrician because it was like an eye, like I just didn't think anything.
There's no correlation yet for it. Yeah.
So I said, oh, she did because her eye was bothering her, blah, blah, blah. The doctor wanted us to get whatever. And she was like, I don't even know how to say this, but
oh my gosh,
there's a huge mass in her brainstem. And you need to get to the hospital like immediately. And
oh my gosh,
was floored. I was like, what are you talking about? She was doing gymnastics and playing flag football yesterday. Like, what are you saying?
Right.
So coincidentally, having nothing to do with this, my brother-in-law and my mom both had brain tumors that were successfully removed and fine. They're both completely fine.
Okay.
So I immediately
both older, or was one of them like when they were
my brother-in-law was like in his probably mid to late 20s.
Okay, so both adult considered. Okay.
Yes. And my mom, it was like 10 years ago, so she was 60 or 50,
wow,
50s, early 60s.
Okay.
So both removed successfully, like a non-issue. Which is kind of what I thought maybe this would be.
That's your template of it. Yeah. Like this, we've seen this before. Yeah.
So in that moment, we called somehow, I like hardly remember any of it, but we called the surgeon who did my brother-in-law and my mom. They both use the same guy out of NYU.
Okay.
And he said, I don't do children, but if you're at NYU, this guy will be great. So we get to NYU. I think about this all the time. I don't even remember getting there. Like I drove and I don't remember how I even made it there.
I absolutely have episodes of those as well.
Yeah.
My husband and I like filling each other in even years later. Yeah.
And we just said to her, your friend needs to go home. The doctor called. They just want to like check out some more stuff from the, the test that we had earlier this morning, like no big deal. And we went in and it was hours of like, they did another MRI, even though they had done one that morning, but they wanted to do their own at NYU. And then they came and talked to us and said, that she had some hydrocephalus from the tumor and that they needed to drain it and they would try to take a biopsy at the same time.
Yeah. Similar to Sam. Yeah.
So,
and is that what was causing her eyes to hurt? We don't know yet.
We don't really know.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm sure it was part of it.
Right.
So we were just like there. I'm like, it was just all such a whirlwind, but I was like, okay, so now she's having brain surgery. Like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
And they took her in for surgery. They did an ETV, which is like where they create basically a pathway for the
Mm-hmm.
fluid to drain since it can't
Mm-hmm.
from the tumor. And we stayed a night, maybe two, and then they were able to get a little piece. It's in a really, really bad place.
Okay.
So you have to be so careful. So the surgeon, who at the time we just, trusted with our life because
Sure.
the other surgeon said he was great. That was the guy that was, on call that night, and he was
Okay.
lovely. And he's like, I was able to get a tiny little piece of it for a biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. We went home. We obviously canceled our trip. We did not go. And then we waited on pins and needles for like 6 days
Absolutely.
to find out. But I don't even remember the sequence of events. But at one point, while she was recovering from the surgery, we met with the oncologist who basically told us that from the looks of it, they thought it was a DIPG and that she probably had like
Okay.
9 months to live.
Right. Right.
Um,
Oh
and,
my
yeah,
gosh.
and I remember falling on the floor of the hospital, like,
Mm.
this cannot be like this. And she was just like, uh, and I was like, what
Yeah.
do you mean? Like, what do
Right.
you mean? She's like, this is not possible.
Right.
And she basically was like, it's like the worst
Mm-hmm.
kind of brain tumor you can possibly have. I
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't even understand like what that, I couldn't even comprehend what she
Right.
was saying.
You can't. Yeah. It's you see the mouth going and you're like,
I was like, no, no, no. This is
I
like
don't
my
under
best
yeah.
friend in the world. She was doing gymnastics yesterday. She just had a friend over. This
Mm-hmm.
is not possible. And she's like, I
Mm-hmm.
think with time you would have started to see more. And so we left the hospital. We went home. Our whole family, like my parents and my in-laws, sort of just like bunker down for a couple of days. It was over spring break time, so a lot of people were away. A lot of our
Mm-hmm.
friends and people were away on trips, and we just kind of sat and tried to keep ourselves busy as much as possible for the
Mm-hmm.
next couple of days until we got a phone call from the surgeon that said it is not a DIPG. It is not aggressive. It is very, very, very slow growing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in a place that is not operable. And
Okay.
anyone who tells you that they can operate on it, you should run far, far away.
Okay.
And
Which
I
is
was,
like what a peak in a valley of like, okay,
yeah,
it's not DIPG,
right. Mm-hmm.
which is incredible.
Yes, yes.
But then also
Mhm.
there's we've just now halved what the possibilities are to be able to help.
So exactly. So, um, and that's something, and I'm sure we'll get to
Mhm.
that drives me crazy every single day.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, so they were like, we can't operate on it, but um, so we ended up doing some research. We went to Sloan Kettering. We live in right outside of New York City, so I felt like
Mhm.
we had the best of the best options. Is
Mhm.
how it felt. We went to NYU. We went to Sloan to like figure out
Good
who
for
we
you
wanted to go
guys.
with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I just had like such a negative feeling towards that NYU oncologist who was like, sorry, like this is
Mhm.
like, I just was like, I cannot see
Yeah.
that woman's
Like you're
face.
ordering a sandwich off of the menu. Yeah.
She was like,
Mhm.
this is what I think it is. But I just didn't, it was like not optimistic enough for me. And I just, she did nothing wrong. I just like couldn't handle it.
Right. Right.
We went with
But
MSK.
like you said, your perspective is always things are going to be fine, and so that
Yes.
negativity
Right.
with the unknown is like, nope, this
And
is not how
when I
we're going to
said,
do it.
but she's fine, like,
Mhm.
instead of saying, so maybe it's not, it was, well, I
Mhm.
think you might have started to see some changes. Like, I just, it
Mhm.
was, she wasn't for me. So we ended
Mhm.
up going with the team in MSK.
Okay.
Um, and they put her on and this is important, and I hope this is helpful for people. The team at MSK put her on a protocol of 1 time a month carboplatin
Okay.
therapy. At NYU and at other places, because we literally called every place that you could imagine. So we called
Mm-hmm.
Boston Children's, we called CHOP, we called UCLA, we called everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The standard of care is carboplatin and vincristine together.
Okay. Okay.
Typically what most kids will be prescribed as their chemo regimen for a year. Vincristine is super toxic and really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Carboplatin, less so. Obviously, it's still a chemo. It's still
Mm-hmm.
horrible, but it's not as bad and
The
has
same. Okay.
lesser known future side effects.
Okay. Okay.
The team at MSK, the oncologist, who is like almost a little hard to talk to because he's like so smart and sciencey,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
said there is, if that's the way I can say it, there's no proven study that shows that the addition of the vincristine makes a difference.
Is helping. Okay.
Let's just do the carboplatin. And the NYU one seemed a little greener and was like, well, this is the standard of care. This is what
Okay.
you do. This is what you do.
Right.
And I liked that he was like, well, do you want to come here every single week? And like, we don't have to. And I was like, okay, we're not.
Which is so hard. And like, and I hear it from so many different families because it's not necessarily that any doctors or hospitals are doing anything wrong, but like
No.
for someone who isn't medical before this,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that there are so many different ways
Totally.
to even have surgery or they have the chemotherapy, you know,
Yes.
and different things
Exactly.
where it's so at least like for us,
Yep.
when we got the second opinion, because we had heard obviously the first opinion first, and it was very different
Mm-hmm.
than what the second opinion was.
Mm-hmm.
I I from human behavior, I almost was like, I don't know if I believe the second opinion because
Totally agree.
it was what we wanted and it was
Yes, but
way
you're like, that's
better.
not possible that you right. Uh-huh.
Right, but I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like, just because I was like, It's so different, and how can it be so different?" Like, it's
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it almost it puts like a reservation
Yeah.
on it where, like,
Yes.
I wanna believe and I want
Well, I'll
this is
tell
what
you,
I want. Yeah.
I it didn't do anything, the chemo.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I mean, it's hard to say. Did it keep it stable? Maybe. It didn't shrink it, that's for sure.
Okay.
Do I think sometimes, like, had I gone with the more aggressive chemo regimen, would it have done more? I don't know. I don't think so. And so in that Facebook group where I found you,
Yes,
when I
yes.
see people all over the world or all over the country putting their poor children on that vincristine when it could work without it, because I
Mhm.
have met somebody else through a mutual friend whose daughter's tumor went
Mhm.
away just
Mhm.
from the carbo. That's how
Oh,
I knew to even ask about this.
okay, okay.
So it like kills my soul that
Yeah.
people might not have access to multiple opinions, multiple,
Yeah.
top tier doctors who can say that is not needed.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, it didn't really do much for her.
Okay.
She did that for a year.
How
Um,
was how was that year for you guys in terms of, like, this is something that you are doing consistently, you're having the treatment, and it's not just go in and you get a shot and you're done.
yeah,
It's affecting days before, affecting
totally.
days after.
And like having another
How
child and yeah,
Yes, yeah, like,
yeah,
what was and
yes,
what was some resemblance of even, like, how you guys
totally. Yep.
stay consistent or stay grounded or some sort of normalcy. I hate that word anyway, but like just some
Yes.
sort of just
I mean, it's really, it's almost like I blocked it out of my mind.
Mhm.
It was pretty terrible. I feel like um, we really did our very best to try to keep life as normal as possible. So,
Yes.
um,
Because you have to, especially when you have younger kids. You
Yes,
have to for sanity, but
yes.
you also have no other choice when you
And
have other kids.
I would never ever consider myself lucky ever because of all of
Mhm.
this, but what
Mhm.
I felt lucky about was that we have a very supportive family who lives very close by. We
Mhm.
live right outside of, a huge city with the top hospitals.
Mhm.
Very easy for us to go there. Multiple people were like, "You can stay in my apartment, you can do this, you can do that." I felt like I felt very supported, and then Rowan had wonderful friends and moms who
Huge.
came
Yeah.
together, and we had an ice cream party for her every month before
Mhm.
the night before she went.
Mhm.
Um, they would bring her presents, her friends would drop things off all the time, people
Yeah.
were cooking for us, so we had a lot of
Those
support,
little unexpected just support
totally,
and positive
super
yeah.
helpful.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
you know, I really was trying to, and maybe it wasn't the right thing, right? And I'm sure I will think about this for the rest of my life, but I was really trying to not downplay it, but like I said, because I'm not an alarmist and I try to like,
Mhm.
everything's fine. It's kind of like my trauma response. I
Mhm.
really tried to not make it this big thing.
Right.
So
Because they react how we react, especially Rowan at,
yes,
at
7
7
at
at the
the time.
time and
Yeah,
then to 8,
yes.
like,
So
they really
she,
yeah.
yeah, she was going and getting infusions through an IV. And I said no to a port because camp was coming up. She was going to be going to a day camp. They're in their bathing suits.
Mhm.
I felt like if I can get away without it to make
Mhm.
it less of a thing, like, oh, every month we go to the city, we sit there all day, it's kind of
Mhm.
terrible, and then we come home. And
Mhm.
like somehow we managed to go 12 rounds of chemo without
Without a
a
port.
port.
Oh,
She did
yeah.
it through an
Yeah.
IV.
Yeah.
Um, and
And that is a small win. That is a small win for these
yes,
kids
I
because
thought so because I thought that
yes,
would be
yeah.
another level of trauma, like
Mhm.
more trauma to
Yeah.
see
Another
this thing.
thing that makes her feel different at this
Yes.
age that you
Mhm,
don't wanna feel different and you just
mhm.
want yeah,
Yes,
I get it. Those little unexpected what may seem like a small victory, but it is a huge
totally.
victory
But it's
when
like, was it more traumatizing that she had to get stuck all the time? Should we have just like there is no one knows the answer. No one knows
yeah,
there is no right or wrong, and I
right. There
try to
isn't.
remind myself that even when it comes to treatment
Mhm.
options, which I'm sure I'll get to, but there's no way to know. And so
Mm-mm.
at the time, that's what felt like this was such a
Yeah.
big new thing, and I was trying to minimize as much as I could all of the big changes and things that were happening. Um,
Melissa, you made the best decision with the
yep,
information that you guys had
yes,
at that moment, and
yes,
that is all that we can do.
yes.
All that we can do.
And she, she did her thing. She went to camp, like she would come home after chemo. We would try to do it on a Thursday, Friday. So if it
Mhm.
was on a Thursday, she'd miss camp on Friday and then she would relax for the weekend for the most part. And by Monday, she was pretty much back to herself and she seemed to tolerate it pretty well. And I felt really grateful because I had heard some stories about other kids having a really hard time with it or needing transfusions or needing to wait because their, numbers, platelet levels were so low.
Right.
She really didn't have any major complications with it and she got through it. Um, but it didn't really do what we were hoping it would do. It really
Okay.
didn't need to do anything, which was the most frustrating part because to the oncology team, they were like, well, stability is success here.
Mhm.
But as her mom, I was like, that's not success to me. Like I
Mhm.
want this thing to go away or at least get
Yeah.
smaller or something.
Yeah.
Um, after that, um, after a year of that, she started on a chemo type of pill. Like we were like, okay, well, what's the next option? Like
Mhm.
now what? Um, and we started her on a pill that they say maybe could work. So that is where she is now.
Okay.
It's been a year. Um,
Okay.
in October, it will be a year of that. And
Okay. And how long right now are they're wanting her to continue it, or is this
so
indefinitely or
yeah, so right before the summer, Um, right before this summer, we had spoken to, in the process, we switched teams and we left MSK and we moved to Columbia.
Okay.
And the oncologist that we're working with now had said she got a scan right before she goes. She has gone for the last 2 summers. I don't know what will be moving forward, but she's been going to sleepaway camp for the last 2 years. So right before she left for camp, we had a scan and he said, I want to just keep her on that pill through the summer. And then let's have a scan when she gets back. And when she gets back, we'll decide, do we take a break and see if there's any changes with nothing? Because obviously you don't need to be on something if it's not doing anything. But if it, God forbid, it grows or something changes, we'll know that the pill was stopping it from doing that.
Okay.
So we actually just went yesterday for a scan. So right now she's on it and we will talk to the doctor on Monday and decide what we want to do next.
Yeah. How does Rowan do with the scans of now being a little bit older, still yes, 9 is still young, but
Yeah.
how have you seen any differences of, like you said, at, at 7, 8, it was, we're trying to make it fun, we're trying to do this. It's her normal for scans.
Yep.
It's not normal.
Mm-mm.
How do you see that impact on her and you guys going in?
It's hard to say. She's not a big sharer of feelings, but I have seen such a change in her just in that I think she's gotten more like just a little more like to herself and a little quieter. I think she's seen things that no child should ever see,
Right.
in these hospital waiting rooms, and she has gone through so much. She happens to be incredible with the scans. She's never needed anesthesia or anything. She just
Oh, wow, good for her, yeah.
very still, and it's just part of her life, and she knows, and she goes every 3 months, and she's just kind of knows that that's just what she gets a little bit nervous before.
Sure.
But for the most part, she's been pretty good about it.
Okay. Yeah, no, and it's been an interesting journey for us too in kind of that capacity because Sammy was 9 when he was diagnosed. He just turned 14 in August. And similar to you, especially when he was younger and we were going to scans every 3 months, we last December we got graduated to every 12 months.
That's great.
Yes, it's definitely a love-hate relationship for at least for me.
Yes.
But it's been an interesting kind of process of having him at 9 and 10 and 11. And again, like similar to what you guys were doing, we go to Memphis for scans. And so we have family friends down there and we try to make a weekend of it to where it's not like we're driving or we're flying, you're doing your scans and we're leaving. Like we try and do something fun. We love our family friends out there. Shout out to the Doddles. But it's been interesting because we've seen different things of like, it's usually a Monday when we do all the appointments and all the scans and everything where, Sunday night gets a little bit quieter for all of us. And, but it was interesting of last December, his last scan, he had just turned, or he was 13, where internally and inside we knew, like nerves and scared and different things, but it was the first time where he kind of vocalized and maybe even put together, and I'll get choked up even like thinking about it, where it was kind of like a light bulb where he had turned to Joe and I, and he had said, there is a chance that this could go bad. We've had successful scans up until this point, and we go to Target afterwards. We buy Lego because Lego sets or baseball cards or whatever, and it was just like another gut punch because we on the journey you get amazing positives and amazing gut punches along the way, and that was just kind of another one where I'm like, yeah, it could.
Yeah.
You're right. And and we'll take that next step, when and if we need to, and
Mhm.
but it was hard of, like, as parents, we try and protect, or we try and make it,
Yeah.
be like, "Yes, this sucks, but, we're gonna go do this," and trying to, like, balance this
Yep.
crazy part of it.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, really seeing him as he gets older, of,
Mhm.
like, that journey of, like, and I've talked to some parents of, their kiddos are 17 months or 2, and where, like, they know and they're scared and they feel all the feelings, but they don't really conceptually know
That this is not,
what's
yeah.
going on,
Right.
or yeah, and different things,
Mhm.
and it's just like, it's just
Yeah.
hard,
Hard. Yeah.
and so I was curious of, like, with Rowan, like you had said, like, you can tell, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, she, listen, she's like you said, she's getting older, and so, um, people say things, right? And,
Mhm.
she's had a few different things. Well, a part of the story is that this past March, she needed another surgery,
Okay.
because the ETV that was done didn't
Okay.
hold, and they needed to put a shunt in.
Ah,
So,
okay.
so she has a shunt, to help drain the fluid, and,
Mhm.
it it's, like, back here, and it runs down her neck and, like, goes into her abdomen,
Okay.
but I didn't realize that you would, like, see the tubing. Like, I didn't know
Yeah,
any of
I guess that wouldn't have dawned on me either. The only shunts I've seen, you haven't been able
But
to
you can't
see.
see the shunt, but you can see the
Right.
tubing.
Right, yeah.
So, kids will say, like, "What is that?" And,
Mm,
um, certain things, she has, and this is, like, one of the things that I struggle with the most, is that sometimes I feel like if her tumor was worse, worse because they consider it a low grade non-aggressive glioma, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
they say it's benign, but, like, there
mhm.
is nothing benign about this
No,
situation.
no, there's
So
nothing benign.
I see people or read about things, celebrities, whomever, who had an aggressive form of
Mhm,
brain cancer, got all this treatment, and now are fine.
mhm.
And we are in this no man's land
Yeah.
of this very slow growing tumor that has now affected her eyes,
Mhm,
affected how she appears physically,
mhm,
affects her motor, skills,
mhm.
her
Receiving chemo with I mean,
all of it.
yeah.
And so I don't know what's residual chemo, what's from the
Mhm,
tumor, what's the place that her tumor is pretty directly related to coordination, balance, all of that stuff. So we've
mhm,
had 2 fractured ankles, 2 broken wrists, like,
mhm,
she falls a lot.
mhm.
And we try all the time to, like, keep things normal, but as she's getting older, more and more kids notice, like, "Oh, and I'm
Right.
always like, what are we doing? Like, what
Mhm.
now what?"
Yeah,
So, it's
yeah.
hard. It's really
It's
hard.
really, really hard, and
Yeah.
that's something of, like, part of, the Sammy Strong Foundation of is it of course, not only like, our focus is giving back to and supporting, families and kids, but also a huge component of that is that awareness of,
Mhm.
one, and this is by no means to minimize adults who are diagnosed with
Of
brain
course.
tumors, that is not the intentionality
Mhm.
at all, because it's all just awful.
Yes.
But a huge difference between adult brain tumors and pediatric brain tumors is all pediatric brain tumors are cancer. So
Mhm.
there isn't really a benign
I
or,
know.
a bad, or that
Yes. And they
it's
were like,
all
"It's
cancer.
treated as cancer, it's thought of as cancer." It's
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes,
it's,
and that awareness of, just like what you said, of, like,
mhm.
it's the journey doesn't end at at surgery or at chemo or at radiation.
Yeah.
It is a lifelong journey, and we feel it as a family, and I've talked with other families where, like, there is kind of, like you said, of, like, this limbo of, and, eh, like, Sammy is doing great, in so many different aspects. And
Mhm.
we are grateful, and we thank God and thank support and like and all those different
Mhm.
things. But it doesn't mean that he's
Mhm.
done and put, like there, like you're saying, like there are lifelong things that
Mhm.
these kiddos, no matter what their diagnosis or no matter if tumors will be able to be fully resected or chemo shrank and remove, and different
Yeah.
things. And some of it is overt, and that's hard, and then some of it isn't overt, and
Mhm.
that's hard also because, like
Mhm.
you're saying, it's it's different it's different components that they're working through that, for better or for worse,
Mhm.
if people don't see the deficits overtly, it's kind of forgotten about.
I always say it's like the invisible disease
Yeah,
because people she didn't lose her hair on
right,
chemo, and to most people, she seemed completely normal, and no one had any idea what she was going through behind the
right,
scenes.
right.
And I will say, I I am so grateful that it wasn't a malignant, aggressive form. I
Absolutely, yes, yes,
1000%. I
yes.
think what's hard for me though is and the people who get through that area, I mean, that's incredible. And of course, it's a lifelong thing, and they'll never feel fully free of
Mhm,
the burden of it all. But sometimes it feels to me like there's a clearer answer in those cases,
mhm,
and I hate feeling like we're just we're a little it feels like we're a little lost, right? Like
mhm,
when
mhm,
I would ask her surgeon who did the shunt, oh, I saw that you came up with this incredible procedure to help with
mhm.
XYZ. And he was like, oh, no, no, that's like more for a DIPG. And,
Okay,
and it's
okay.
like, but Rowan's tumor is exactly the same. It's in the same
Mhm,
spot. It's big, it's diffuse, it's all the
mhm,
things. Thank
mhm,
God it's just more of a slow growing tumor.
mhm.
But it's like, so then that treatment option is not for you, which of course I'm sure it's probably super toxic, and they use it
Right,
when it's life and death, right? They
right,
use it when there's
right.
no other
As a
choice.
last resort, yeah, yeah.
But it's really hard as a mom to see your 10-year-old daughter who was, seemingly perfect a few years
Mhm,
ago,
mhm,
has one eye that doesn't work,
mhm,
has a whole left side of her body that doesn't work as well as the other side. So it's
mhm,
slow, slow, slow changes
mhm,
that we see that all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, you
mhm.
think about this time last year, she didn't have that. So
Mm, mhm.
now we're in a little bit of
Yeah,
a crossroads because what do we do now?
yeah.
So
How do you balance that hope and that uncertainty for that future? Because it is uncertain, but then also there is that hope of new trials, new medication,
yeah, yeah.
new tools for easier surgery. Like
I
that.
know.
I mean, it's a balance.
I don't know. I I
Fair. No,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know. I don't know. I think I think we are just constantly trying to find speaking with doctors or trying
Mhm,
to find ways where we can raise money, or come up with some
mhm.
type of something. I mean, I'm researching all the time to see like
Yeah.
what we can come up with next. I think surgery is really out of the question for her. I did speak with the surgeon though, who I think there's a balance. Like at some point, do you take the risks of the surgery because the other things that are going on are not great?
Mhm.
So I just came across someone on that low grade glioma group that
Okay.
actually has the same exact type of tumor
Okay.
as Rowan and in the same place.
Oh,
And
okay.
she was told to start radiation. Um,
Okay.
we were cautioned like very highly against it, and to wait and to wait and to wait and to like do everything else first,
Mhm,
which has been what we've been
mhm.
doing. But for this little girl, it seems to be working. And so
Interesting. Yeah.
that's going to be our next conversation. Like if we continue to see more deficits for Rowan
Mhm,
and
mhm,
things feel harder for her, which I would
mhm,
never want, then is that a decent option? Like
mhm.
when do like the risks? When did the benefits outweigh the risk? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I don't know, like you said in the beginning, I don't know if anybody knows. And it's different
mhm.
for
Yeah,
each kiddo, each family of the cost to benefit ratio. And it's just hard.
yeah.
It's just hard. It's just hard.
Mhm. Yep.
What if you could, what would you tell your past self about the start of this journey? What would it be?
Once the journey started, you mean? I mean, I think
Mhm,
just, I think I thought that after the year of chemo that I just needed to be strong and get through this, and, like, I can't believe my child is gonna be going through chemotherapy, like, that's, like, the worst nightmare for any parent, right, to, like, think about that, but I
mhm,
think I thought that that was gonna be, like, the end of the journey. So
mhm,
I think I would have kind of warned myself more about that it's a long road, and
mhm,
there might be lots of ups and downs, and,
mhm.
um just that we need to take it like one day at a time and one,
Yeah,
you know, one treatment at a time and like just
sure.
little bit by little bit and that I can't think too far into the future.
Yeah, yeah. Share if you can, maybe a moment of unexpected joy or strength for Rowan or within your family
Yeah.
on this journey.
I mean, I'll never forget the moment that when I called and said that it wasn't an aggressive form,
Mhm,
and that it was very slow and that the overall prognosis was
mhm,
good. That obviously was the biggest joy that we could hear. But I think I think I felt strength in getting her through that year of chemo the way I wanted her to get through it, right? With like
okay.
as little, mental damage as
Mhm,
possible.
mhm,
Um, and I think that's probably, where I felt like okay, I could do this and I could be that person for her and I could make the right decisions
mhm,
um according to what I believe would be best for her and keep her the most,
mhm.
unharmed, I guess. So I don't know. It's hard because I don't always feel that way and I don't
Mhm.
always feel like I'm doing it the right way or handling things the right
Sure.
way, but that's like the best example I could think of the last time that I felt really confident with how we approached something.
Yeah. On a positive or good day for Rowan, what does she enjoy doing? What does that
Mhm.
look like for her? What do you
Sure.
guys enjoy doing as a family?
Yeah, so it's definitely changed because
Mhm,
physically, a lot of things are much harder for her. She doesn't really have the same stamina as her sister or
mhm,
the physical ability to do lots of sports and things like that, like her friends can. So
mhm.
she loves acting. So she's in some plays.
I
Um,
love that.
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yes. She likes to do some arts and crafts. She she does like to play basketball, even if she's not amazing at it. She's pretty good at just being like, this is what I like to do. And she plays on a team, and my husband's the
Good for
coach.
her. Good for her. Yeah.
Yes. Um, and yeah, we try to just do like as many fun family. We're like a big game family. We play a lot of games. We do a lot of like nonsense. And we try to just make as many fun family memories as possible. We like to travel. We try to go on some
Absolutely.
fun trips. But yeah, it's definitely shifted, I would say, over the years because she
Sure.
just certain things are just harder for her.
Yeah. 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 What for you and your husband, what would you what would you say or want to say when uh if you had an opportunity to kind of speak to another family
Mm,
going through this
yeah.
or diagnosis? Because I always find, at least, and maybe it's just my husband and I, but I do hear it with other families too, of we have two, both very helpful, but both different perspectives of what we're like, I really want somebody to know this.
Okay. Um, what would I say? Oh, you and your husband have two different things you would say?
Yeah, like my husband's always and it's also how he's kind of his journey with it of
Mhm.
like my husband always it sounds like similar to you, like he went to like research and let's find it and let's do it. And so like if I had to speak for him, if he was sitting
Mhm.
right here, he'd probably always say like get a second opinion, get a
Yeah.
third opinion.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
although I very much agree with that,
Yes.
I would probably say, like, find your tribe, find people who are gonna support
Right.
you, like, do
Yours is
what you
more, like,
yes, yes,
emotional,
yes,
totally.
yes,
I
yeah,
think we're probably very similar to that, but I would say, um, I really truly think, though, that the researching aspect of it and the second opinions and the asking people and all of that stuff um, is really, really important, and
absolutely.
I think, I feel grateful that we have the support even in our family. Like I feel paralyzed by a lot of this stuff and I like can't do anything. But then I'll have my mom or my mother-in-law make
Mhm.
phone calls all across the country for meetings, opinions. Can we send you a scan? Can we do this? Can we do that?
Incredible,
Um,
yeah.
because I like shut down. I'm like, I
Mhm,
can't. Um, I've had my best friend call a camp for me that one of the doctors said maybe that would be better for her than like a regular camp. And it made me so sad at the thought that she can't go to a regular day camp or sleepaway camp.
mhm,
And I had my friend was like, I'm going to call and ask like if this would be the right fit for her. And it
mhm.
wasn't, but so it's kind of a combination of you and your husband, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that I can understand if many marriages did not survive this. Like,
Mm,
I feel so grateful that I do have such a supportive, hands-on husband who is just as invested in all of this as I am. But this
absolutely.
really, really takes a toll.
Mhm,
This is more than I ever thought that I would ever be
mhm.
faced with. Um, but it is good to have somebody who is about taking the next steps because I think if it wasn't for him, I would just like sit in my room in a hole and cry all day every day. But he
Yeah,
really makes the next steps possible.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
he's
I think like that, I just actually heard something yesterday that although we weren't particularly talking about, the journey of a family with pediatric brain cancer, but I just thought it was so powerful and it really resonated and it popped in my head when you were saying that of like the greatest advice for any marriage, but in particularly for a marriage that's going through a journey like this is simply don't quit on the same day.
yeah, yeah.
Like, with it,
Mhm.
where and you
Yeah.
said and I think, like, that can just be so powerful because
Mhm.
there are days where you're just like, "Nope, I don't know if I can get out of bed." We
Yeah.
do, but,
Yeah.
and just that, like, that importance of it and just that importance of just feeling like you're not on this island alone,
Yes. I don't know
that
if
you're not
anybody would do
feeling
this
hurt.
alone. Yeah.
Yes, and just like there's families out there that although the journey may be different, it's a similar journey and just
Mhm.
similar notions and that validation and just really like having that power of just uh yeah, just feeling validated and feeling heard and not feeling
Yes.
alone can just be game changing on the
Totally.
hardest day.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes.
It really
Thank you so much, Melissa,
No, of
for taking
course.
time out of your
Yes.
day and just really putting your family and Rowan's story out there and just we will continue to send prayers and light and strength to all 4 of you because
Thank
it is it affects everybody just
for
your
sure.
whole family, just
Mhm.
differently, and,
Yep.
um, it's an incredible start of the story, and we wanna keep hearing how it continues to go for all of you guys, and please, if you need anything, know that not only, myself, is here, but the Sammy Strong Foundation
Thank
is here
I'm so
for
happy
all
to
of
hear
you
that he's
guys.
doing great, and I send lots of prayers
Thank
and
you. No,
positivity that he
thank you.
continues to be doing great. That
No.
is
Yes.
whatever it's what we all want for all of them.
Absolutely. No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Sure.
for
Thank you
coming
for
on deck
having me.
Yes, absolutely. And to anyone out there, if you or anyone you know would like to be a guest on the podcast, or if support systems, if there's any questions or topics that you really feel like I want this explored on the podcast, I want to know how to be able to help, please contact and email me at gosammystrong@gmail.com. If you want to learn any more about the Sammy Strong Foundation or upcoming events, all of our fundraising events go back to other kids and families fighting. Please check out our website at gosammystrong.com. We'd love for you, of course, to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Go Sammy Strong. And lastly, we could not do any of this without our Sammy Strong supporters. So if you'd like to learn more about how to be a supporter, sponsorship, donation, or volunteer, we need all of you. These kids need all of you. So learn how to become a hero in these kids' journeys. Our website again is gosammystrong.com. And Melissa, again, thank you. And thank you for everybody to help remind Rowan and Sammy and all of these fighters just to keep fighting, because hope's on deck. So thank you. Enjoy the weekend going into. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
This episode of On Deck was brought to you by Boys Town National Research Hospital. Backed by 40 years of life-changing research, Boys Town Hospital and medical clinics provide the latest innovative care to their patients. Visit boystownhospital.org to learn about their specialty services, including their pediatric neuroscience program.